would not use MDF anywhere in the shed. That's not really an outdoor material. When it gets damp, it absorbs some moisture and swells. I do fear the MDF may sag in future time. MDF is just as prone to blowing with moisture as cardboard is prone to drooping. Thin MDF is no good. Ditch the MDF. I fear losing the cardboard for MDF is out of the fire and into the frying pan. Hi everybody, welcome back to Darlingbrough Model Railway. I'm Richard. In the last few weeks I have had a lot of comments and feedback in relation to this stuff. MDF. Ow. I have had a lot of people tell me that it's not the best material to use in the shed, suggesting that I use plywood. For example, Peter Loyley, who suggested that I use a softwood frame, 9mm ply, screw and glue. Thank you very much, Peter. Andy Russell and Simo D have both suggested that I use plywood as well, giving examples of problems that they've had when they've used other wood on layouts that they've built in the past. Simon Davies has also recommended I use plywood as well. And another recommendation was from the Main Train Eastport channel as well. Thank you very much for the suggestions. I really do appreciate it, and I do try and take on board as much as I possibly can from the help and advice that I get. Now, I'll be honest with you, changing all of the woodwork for plywood at this stage is not going to be an option for me, mainly down to the budget. So far, I've tried to keep the costs of this layout as low as possible. I've focused on using recycled or reclaimed wood whenever I possibly can. I found that in my local B&Q store they have an offcuts bin, which is a really good source of leftover wood. And the good thing is you can usually pick this up for the price of a small donation to charity. Now, if you are in a similar situation to me and you're looking to save money building a model railway, I've actually got a list of videos that have many top tips on how to save money, including how I managed to save around about £800 on this shed. You can click up here, or I will be putting the links up at the end of this video as well, so don't miss them. Getting back to the layout, I have also had a lot of people making suggestions that rather than replacing the wood, I can seal it instead. So with that in mind, I did a little bit of research. I went to my local B&Q store and I had a look down the aisles that sells all of the varnishes and the wood stains and basically the wood protection, wood finishes. There is a lot of variety, and I'm sure that there's probably lots of recommendations that you guys can make. If you have, by all means, drop me a message in the comments below. So after I went into B&Q, I must admit I was lost. I didn't have a clue what type of finish or wood stain, or whether I needed oil for it, whether I needed timber treatment. I then went into my local pound shop and I found this. The Palace Fence Guard Timber Treatment for use on fences and sheds. Now this whole tub, and there is lots of it, cost me £5, which to be honest is a bargain. I'm not sure if it's going to be the best thing to use, but we'll find out. Right, let's get these baseboards painted and sealed. Yes, perfect. That should have done it. Let's go have a look. If only it was that easy. Now when it comes to painting the timber treatment onto the baseboard, I will be using more traditional methods rather than the TNT. It might take me a good few days because I'm going to have to unscrew and lift up all of the baseboards so that I can get underneath all of the supports and just make sure everything is really well sealed, because as people have mentioned, the moisture can obviously wreck the wood, and I don't really want that to happen after spending so much time on it. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm also going to be looking at adjusting the drawbridge section, because as I mentioned in the last video, I'm not particularly happy with it. I have got some more ideas that I want to try, so I'll be looking at doing that while I'm working on the woodwork as well. But I've also been working on other things in the shed as well, just finishing off little jobs. So I'm going to pass you to me a few days ago and explain what's been happening. I've also been working on another little wood project as well in the shed, and that's to get some insulation finished on the door. So basically I've kind of got some polystyrene, and here's what I did with it. My plan was to insulate the door using some polystyrene which I had left over. First of all, I wanted to make sure that the door had a waterproof membrane against where the wood would go. Now, I know that there are various products available, however I went for the low budget version and bought a roll of black bags. I simply used my staple gun and nailed these to the inside of the door. It was then time to install the polystyrene into the door. Using a basic craft knife, I cut the polystyrene into shapes and slotted them into the door cavity like a jigsaw. I tried to pack the polystyrene in as tightly as possible to prevent it from falling out. In some places I did use a touch of PVA just to give it some additional temporary support. Unfortunately, the door did not have any support beams on the sides, so off camera I cut some wood to size and nailed it into place. To finish it off, I used some offcuts of 3mm plywood to apply an inner skin to the door, holding the polystyrene insulation in place. One of the pieces of plywood that I used for the door has a nice big dent in it, unfortunately. It was just plywood I had left lying around, so I'm not really going to complain. Now, if you are enjoying the videos that I'm producing on this channel and want to help support it and help me maybe finish my layout at some point, then you can do so by buying me a coffee. Go to the Buy Me a Coffee page that I've got set up and you can make a small donation which will go towards buying equipment, tools and materials which I'll be using on my layout. Obviously I do appreciate any and all donations, and I will be mentioning anybody who gives me a donation in a video as well. Well, I've got lots of painting to get on with. Happy November. In the meantime, if you are looking for lots and lots of ways to save lots and lots of money when building a model railway, check out this playlist up here full of hints and tips. And if you're looking for different ways to build scenery, then check out this playlist down here. In the meantime, please click on the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. I don't know why I did that.